Hey
Hey Marie,
Kat, good to see you again.
good to see you too. I
Starting to
love those
love these.
earrings.
Thank you. We had that earring conversation. I love that. It's so nice to
It is.
recognize in the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. But today we're not going to talk about earrings. We're going to talk, well, we might, who knows. But we're going to get into the new moon of Taurus in our first reading and see what's coming up for us. And actually, we're filming it today on the actual date. So the energy will be nice and strong for us today. So let's see what comes up.
Let's see. So what is the new moon? What is a new moon for people
Mm,
who might not know?
yeah, I
I,
think
for example, don't know. I know it's when basically there is no more light coming from the moon, right? Is that right? Is
right.
that
And
correct?
so traditionally speaking, it's kind of like the time to plant a new seed, the time to leave something behind and start something new. And
Okay.
because we have this beautiful new moon in Taurus, it's kind of about the way that I'm interpreting for myself, it's about coming home. Taurus is about both value and actual valuables. So it's like it's our belief systems, but it's also like where we live and our home and so on. And I think about coming home in terms of like coming home to ourselves at this moment in time.
Okay, great.
Mm.
All right, let's see what kind of card comes out for us. Ooh, the Mother of Swords.
Hmm.
So it's really interesting about that because I have a wonderful person that helps me with my tarot. Her name is Natalie, Queen of Arcana, and she really helped me notice the coolness of this card because sometimes the Mother of Swords, I think traditionally is considered kind of harsh and kind of direct and maybe like what we assume is like, like a woman boss or something like that. But
Okay.
in the end, I also think that whole notion of what it is to be a woman in power is changing. And that's why I think this one is so cool as a card because the suit of swords is quite difficult in
Mhm.
itself. I find it's one of the most difficult of the whole tarot deck. But as a result, like this mother, this queen, has grown through that and has learned so much, right? But then she has a choice to make. She can either think that the world is hard and so she always needs to bring her sword out to defend
Or
herself,
yeah.
or she can say, you know what? I've learned these lessons. I now am strong enough to be able to defend myself if something comes up, but I don't need to always already be defending myself. So I love that. And so I think it's always about like maybe right now it's that choice of like remembering everything that we've gone through, that it might be hard, is here to serve us. And it's not to imprison us, not to
Mhm.
make us think that everything is always going to be like that. It's just made us become this maybe powerful person who is able to, fight if necessary, but not needing to.
Yeah. I really like you saying that. And also, she has things growing out of her head. So it's like it's growth alongside with, as you said, that difficult journey. And what came up for me as you were talking is there's this saying, walking softly but carry a big stick. And so and I think, the world has taught us that perhaps we need to carry that big sword or that big stick because we never know. It's like at any moment, something can happen and I need to use it. Um, and and that has taught us to be a little bit on edge, perhaps, and
Mm.
be constantly looking around the corner to see if the next thing is going to show up. I do believe that, in that combination of the sword, the fighter, and the grower, the receiver, it's like kind of integrating those two energies and maybe no longer needing that stick.
I agree because I really feel more and more that I'm wanting to grow away from that. And I know that I can have in a way a defensive part about myself, which is,
Yeah.
it's like that expression like, you might hurt me once, but you won't hurt me twice, But
Yeah.
I don't want to feel that way. I want to be now open and have my heart be trust myself so much, knowing that I will be able to do and help myself or protect myself if need be, but have so much trust in that I don't have my guard up and that I'm open to people and trusting and loving and having that. So maybe that is also the lesson of this new moon, this
Yeah.
the seed that we're wanting to plant.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful. And also, whatever's real in you cannot be hurt anyway. So
yeah.
it's just our beliefs that can be hurt. Our ego can get hurt and triggered, and we can start to say, "Oh no, you're wrong, I'm right." But whatever's true in us and whatever's true in another person can never really truly be hurt. And so it's that
Yeah.
beautiful reminder of that you find the security within you. I was actually listening to a beautiful channeling by a gentleman called Alexander Quinn before this call, and he was talking about how, you know, we are ridding ourselves of so many things, and in this new time, it's kind of like knowing that we have to seek within for our truth, have to seek within
Mm,
for our sense of safety. It's no longer in the outside world. So
yeah.
I think this cards bring about that in such a beautiful way.
And I also do want to point out that she seems to be having the same earrings as you. So she's wearing those flowers are
The
reminding me of your
flowers,
earring.
yeah. The flowering of you. Yeah, I love that.
So what is the next question? I think maybe we could ask a question of maybe it's about what actions can we take to put down our sword or stick? You
Mm.
know?
Hmm.
What still needs to be maybe integrated or looked at, in
Yeah.
order to feel safe to do that?
Yeah.
I'll pick two cards for that. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All these, so we got the Empress
Hmm.
and we got another mother, another queen, the Queen of Wands. And I love it because, sometimes the Empress is actually kind of like the like almost like the epiphany of all the queens. It's
Hmm.
like in
Hmm.
tarot you have like the all the queens and then you have the Empress, which is almost like the kind of like the culmination of that. Or you
Hmm.
have the Emperor, which is almost like the like kind of the epiphany of the kings. So
Yeah.
I love this. So
Interesting.
how to be able to have more trust in yourself. We have the Empress and the Mother of Wands.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's interesting. The Mother of Wands really has that moon
Yeah, it
analogy.
really
Look at
does.
that.
It has that shape. But also the first thing that I saw is like in the previous image, the sword is kind of attached to you. She's holding on to the sword. But
Yeah.
here, it's a fully relaxation in the middle, and then
Yeah.
everything is around you. So you're constantly being protected without even trying.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's all these little swords. I know they're wands, but they're
Yeah.
surrounding you, and so you are protected at all times without having to carry that sword around.
I agree. And actually, what I'm getting from a little bit what you were saying too is that it's almost like I feel like it's almost like happening without you needing to try so much. It's almost like it's happening while you're resting. It's not like it's almost like this integration that we're doing. Sometimes we feel like we have to work so hard and always keep doing things or keep
Mhm.
working on ourselves. But in a way, what I'm getting here is also is just it's happening. So to trust
Mhm.
that. And to
Yes.
trust that it's even happening when you're resting, it's happening when you're just out doing nothing, not even thinking about your spirituality or anything. And yeah, not always having to like be healing ourselves. We're doing it. It's
Mhm.
almost there naturally.
Beautiful. And what's come up for me and for a lot of people that I speak to lately, and I've also seen it in social media, is that it's kind of like, our dreams are being so we're being so held and activated throughout our dream state. And we might have really vivid
Mm,
dreams these days. We might have dreams where we wake up and we're just kind of like, wait a minute, that was like a very clear message to me. So I appreciate your message of saying like it's all happening even though you're resting. I think
yeah.
fully now we're starting to realize how much is happening while we're actually sleeping.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. I sometimes like meditate right before I go to bed, and
Mm.
then I have these like weird things happen to me while I'm sleeping. Like I'm kind of in an in-between state, and it's like it's a really interesting experience when I
Mm.
when I do when that happens.
Amazing.
And I think what I'm also getting from the Empress and her having almost like because it's almost like she takes all of the queens and becomes like, like the not the head queen because I don't think there's a hierarchy again,
Mm.
but I think it's just the Empress is all about fertility and flow, but also about kind of um, creativity and the becoming of what we are. But again, remembering that all that takes the time and the cycles and like nature, like the nature that we see or the cycles here, it's just to remember that there's like a part of patience that happens. And we're in such a fast-paced life now in society that we assume that everything happens instantaneously. And sometimes we even see videos where it's like, learn to manifest and tomorrow your life is going to change. And
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I've been really seeing how things do change, but it's not like this instantaneous change. And so sometimes when you're in the middle of that, it's about just trusting that again, the change happens and the growth will happen. But you also have to just let it
Mhm.
happen.
Absolutely. And look at the way that she's so graceful. She's carrying that crown so lightly and she's looking
Mm,
straight into your eyes. It's kind of like being that beautiful mirror for everyone that, this
mm,
is you, this is you with this crown on your head, facing reality after all that you've been through, after, carrying around that stick or that sword for so long. You are just, it's kind of like that present moment type of expression. Like we're
yeah.
here.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. She does really have this really sweet expression on her
Hmm.
face.
Hmm. It's very calm and it's calming. So it's like it's a verb also, it's helping us to calm down as well as you're
Hmm.
looking in those eyes. And I think that we're going to be that a lot for each other. We're going to be those beautiful mirrors for each other when we look into each other's eyes, our souls look into each other. And then we start to realize that, oh, wait, like we were here all along. Like, yes, we needed the sword for the time being, but it's time to put it down now. And that
Hmm.
was really our question, right? How do I put it down? How do I find it? It's like you find it in yourself and you find it in others, and then it's time to put it down.
I love that you mentioned the mirror thing because that's something that's very big for me right now. I've been reading this book, which is just, that reality is reality. I mean, like but then we are the mirror of it and it mirrors back what we are. So if
Yeah.
you think you need a sword, yes, you will need a sword.
Exactly.
If you think and believe that you won't need the sword, you will not need the sword. The
Yeah.
the reality isn't gonna, it's not even punishing you. It's just
No.
wanting to be exactly what you are. So if that's what you believe, and so I've been, and it takes a lot of, and that's also why I think the Empress is that, because with your power comes responsibility. And so you are taking responsibility for your life and realizing sometimes it can be that like, oh my gosh, like this life that maybe I want to change or I don't like so much is something that I've created. It's very powerful. It also makes you realize though, it's like, oh, okay, I have agency here. And so,
Absolutely. And it reminds me of, we have the light coming through, but then we have the prism. Like we can actually see it on your face. You have this prism where it has these different colors. And so
yeah.
when the light moves through that prism, it changes into different colors. So we can
Mm,
think about ourselves as the prism, So the
mm,
white light is entering through us, and then we shoot out something depending on our internal, whatever layers we have inside of us, whatever, cuts we have as the prism has
yeah.
cuts, then the green comes out, the blue, the yellow, and so on and so forth. And that's how we color reality. But
Mm,
the
mm,
light that's coming through all of us is white. It's
mm.
it just comes through as one thing. And then we start to, through our chakras and through our prism, through our carvings, we start to emanate a typical, or I should say typical, a specific type of light.
And you know what I'm also getting from what you just said, what I think is so beautiful is because you're mentioning like the cuts and in my head I'm thinking, well, those cuts sometimes come from hard things that we've gone
Yes.
through. But at the same time, then it becomes this beautiful rainbow.
Right.
Like you can also see it. Like it's like, how they, I mean, Leonard Cohen says, it's from the cracks that the light shines through, and it's from maybe our cuts, our specific things that made us feel like we needed the sword, that we are going to have this beautiful rainbow. But
Mm.
again, it's up to us to see it as a beautiful rainbow and not to only concentrate on all the cuts and the hard things.
Exactly. And also remembering that your difficulties, those are your true superpowers. That's where your
Yeah.
mission is. So that those cuts, those hardships, those that the reason you were carrying that stick around or that sword, that is actually from that you're going to start to pull the it's almost like karma ends, destiny begins, right? You
Mm.
use those cuts into change and become the person that you meant to be through those prism um
Changes.
emanations. Yeah.
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 Well, to end this reading, shall we just pick a message of love
hmm
for right now
Yep.
from our higher self? Ooh, I love that. We got the Ace of Cups. So to me, that is just a beautiful, to me, it's just the aces are always about new potentials and the
Mm,
seeds, it's exactly what you were saying about the seeds that we're planting, because aces is exactly that. It's the potential, it's the seed, it's the new opportunity, it's the new, um, possibility. And so I
mm.
love, and cups have to do with our emotions and our relationships and our feelings. To me, I just feel like, for example, it's exactly that. It's like a new, maybe we're planting a new way of being in our life as we put down the sword.
Yeah. And look at how beautifully that's flowering as well, right? So
Mm.
it feels like there's communion there, there's family.
Hmm.
There's definitely a flowering of something new. And there's like lightly holding on to that cup with your tail without even looking at it, like being a little
Yeah,
bit nonchalant, like, oh, this is all happening and
yeah,
I'm growing and this newness is coming through me, but I'm also pretty much at peace and I'm focusing
yeah,
on, my family as well.
yeah. I also love the fact that in a way it's also like I feel like it's also maybe also about gratitude, and it's
Mm,
almost like taking the flowers that we have and putting them into that vase, and as a result making what we have become this pretty thing, like it's intentional too.
mm,
So
beautiful. Full circle, really amazing reading. I mean, it's just, yeah, thank you for that.
thank you. That was
Mm,
really, really wonderful for this new moon.
amazing.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye. Wait, let's see.